G'day everybody, we're back, and today we're going to do a 3-hole oil change on a 2013 FLS. So let's get started.
Now we're going to warm up the engine. I love this part. Remove the oil filler cap, and this will just help it drain out of the tank faster. We're going to go ahead and drain the oil.
On this FLS, or any softail really, the drain for it is located right here on the base of the frame, right by the swing arm. Take a 5/8 and break that loose.
Put an oil pan underneath it, or in this case, Mom's baking tray.
Don't tell her, she doesn't know I have this one. Finish turning that out by hand. Just like that. It could be a little warm, but that's all right. There we go. And let her drain. While we're in here, we're going to inspect our drain plug. Look for any filings or anything. This one's really good. There's nothing on there. And we're going to go ahead and clean this up, get it ready to reinstall in the motorcycle. And remove our O-ring. Just like that. And we're going to install our new one. Before you install your new O-ring, make sure you clean that seat at the base of that drain plug really good. You don't want any grit in there. That can cause a leak. And we've got enough of those around here already. And we dip that in the oil. Got a little bit of grease on there just to help it slide. And just roll that down just like that, nice and evenly. Make sure it's seated properly. And that's just perfect. You want to put a little oil on it so it seats better, and when you turn it in, it doesn't tear. It'll help it slip a little bit just as it seats.
Stand it up straight to get the last drops out.
And collect your used oil. And quickly clean inside that collar. Make sure there's no grit or dirt in there best we can. Get it real clean so we got a nice mating surface. And reinstall our drain plug just by hand. Once you've just bottomed that out by hand, put your ratchet on it and just give it like just a 1/16 of a turn. Just snug it up. That's it. That's all it needs. Now we're going to go ahead and remove the filter using our Harley filter wrench. And a 3/8 ratchet and an extension. Just break this loose. Just like that. Okay, now I'm going to show you a little trick here. Where these filters are on all of these softails, you don't want to get a lot of oil in there, so I've got a trick for you. What you do, some people watched this channel before, they've seen this already, but I'm going to show you again just in case you're tuning in for the first time. Take a piece of paper, shove it up in there, and put a little kink in it like that, and that'll help getting some of or most of the oil in the pan, and rather than on all of this. Take that loose. There we go. Oh, there she comes. Just like that. There we go. And there you go. That'll keep a lot of it off the cases anyway. Go in there, wipe off that mating surface. Now we're going to install our new filter. Before we do that, we're going to charge it just a little bit. Just fill it up like a third of the way. Because of where these ones are, you got to kind of tilt them over to put them in there. So you don't want to fill it all the way up. You'll just dump it all over there. And now I want you to take a little bit of fresh oil. You can use used oil, it doesn't really matter. And just go around that seal. Just so it slips and it seats real nice. Okay, let's put that in the bike. Just wipe that off one more time, just make sure it's nice and clean. That paper really helped. We didn't make too much of a mess at all. That looks great. And install our new filter. Try to keep it falling over there. There you go. Make sure you're square and straight. Spin that on just like that. And just hand tight's fine. You shouldn't really have to put a wrench on these, just like that. That's perfect, that's all she needs. And there we go.
Now using our Harley Davidson filler funnel, we're going to add our fresh oil.
Right on, put her in there.
We're going to be using our Screaming Eagle Full Synthetic 2050.
These hold about 4 quarts, just under that. So we're going to add a couple and then check it and fill it up accordingly from there. Like that. Okay, when you check it, we're not there yet, we got to add some more. When you check it on the side stand. Do not stand the bike straight up. Check it often. You don't want to overfill this. Check it again. There we go. We're starting to register. This is the full cold line here. This is the full hot line. We're going to fill it up to there. Then we're going to run the motor and just circulate it through the motor and take some up in the filter and then check it again, fill it up accordingly. Okay, that's full. Yeah, right to the line. Now we're going to run the motor. Just to get some, fill the filter up, fill all the lines back up, then we'll check it again and top it up. Now she's warm. You see if the filter took any up. Yes, she did. Down to there now. We're going to top it up accordingly. We're going to go right to the full hot line because we get the engine warm. We're just going to top that up. Probably take another liter. That's just perfect. It's just below the top there. We're going to call that good enough. Now we're going to change the transmission fluid. And to do that, we're going to start by removing the filler cap. And then we're going to drain it. It just lets the air in so it drains better and faster. More faster. It's a very tight spot in here, so get an L-shaped Allen key or even use a bit and 3/8 wrench and you can turn it like that. But this fits in there nicely. I actually shortened this a little bit just to clear this hose. Make sure it's firmly in there and straight. There we go. And just turn it a little bit at a time there. Once you've got it loose, just reach in there with both hands and spin it the rest of the way out. Carefully pull out of there. There's a dipstick. It's full. The fluid's clear. It should be though. These shouldn't get very dirty. You only have to change the transmission like every third time you do the engine. I do it less than that, but that's just fine. There's no friction parts in there, just gears. The primary, you have to change it kind of with the oil or every other time at least, because the clutches are in there and they wear like a brake pad and it gets in the fluid. Now we're going to drain the transmission, and the drain for these is up under the bike here, right in the middle between the shocks. You see that there? That's it, right there where my finger is. It's right towards the front of the shocks, right under the transmission, and you can just fit a 5/8 socket in there and an extension. So let's do that right now. Okay, we got our 5/8. Let's go in there. There we go. And break that sucker loose. There we go. Oh, it looks really good. Right on. There's like nothing on it. That's really good. Perfect. You see the oil's pretty clear. That's about as cloudy as it should ever get in the transmission. You can see that's really clear even when it's thick. It's not gritty at all. It's perfectly fine. It just needs a change. Go ahead and remove our O-ring. We're going to put a fresh one on. There you go. There's the old one. Get a new one. Before we put that on there, we're going to take a little bit of oil. Just like put a little bit in the cap. And dunk him in there. Before we put him on, we're going to clean that seat where he sits really good. Take our seal. Flat on the top and just roll him down like that. Make sure he's seated nice and evenly. If you get a twist in it or anything, it can have like a pinch in it and then it'll leak there. And that's ready to go back in the bike.
Now that it's almost done dripping, we're going to stand it up and get the last of it out.
Wipe off the shocks if you got any oil on them, which we did, and wipe off the mating surface right in between the shocks, and reinstall our drain plug like that. Put that in by hand very carefully. If you feel any resistance, stop. There's something wrong. You do not want to strip this. It's an aluminum case, so take it easy. Just when you bottom it out, just give it like 1/8 of a turn. Just snug it up. That's it. That's all she needs. Now using our Harley Davidson filler funnel, we'll put that right in there. Can you see that, Sarah?
Mm-hmm.
That's where we're going to add our fluid.
Today we're using our genuine Harley Davidson transmission primary chain case lubricant.
This holds just shy of a liter. About 9/10 of a quart or 900 milliliters, but just put like 7 in and then measure it, just check it, and top it up accordingly. Go ahead and check that level. Just seat it like that. You don't have to turn it in. It is a bugger to get in and out of there. And that's, yeah, we still got another 100 milliliters to go, and we're about halfway, so that's great. You can see that's dead on the full line. We got 100 milliliters left. Okay, drop that in there like that with 2 hands. Get it started. Make sure it's square, because it kind of sits like an angle this way and kind of an angle back towards the bike, towards the back end of the bike. So be very careful with this. Once again, you do not want to cross thread them. So get it started by hand. It should spin easily, just like that. I know it's hard to see in there. There you go. And just bottom it out by hand. Once you've bottomed it out, just get on there with your Allen key and just give that like 1/8 of a turn. That's all it needs. You don't have to drive this home at all. That's it. Let's move on to the primary. And collect your used oil. The drain plug for the primary is right here at the back of the case. Once again, this is a 5/8 socket. Put that on there squarely and just break it loose. Turn that out by hand. And there you go. And that's always going to be dark like that. The clutches are in there, like I said, and they wear like a brake pad. That's perfectly normal. It could use changing, so we're doing it. It's not gritty or anything. You can see there's a little material on the magnet there. That's just from the clutches. No big deal. It's the steels in there. There's stuff in this primary chain case lubricant to deal with that, so that's why we're putting it in there. Clean off our drain plug. Remove our O-ring again. Clean our seat real good. Just like that. Make sure. Just like that. Dunk our seal. Squarely on the top. Like that. Roll that down evenly. Just like that. That's ready to go back in the bike.
Almost done dripping. We're gonna stand up the bike.
Gonna remove our derby cover and go around and just break them loose in a star pattern. There's 5 on these. There was only 3 on the Evo, and on the Sportsters there's 6. Make sure you got a square bite and give them a sharp crack when you break them loose. It's the best way to get them out of there without hurting them or stripping them. Now we're going to spin them out by hand. Leave the top one for last. Parts in a bucket. This one for last. Go and do it like that. And just walk away with it. Put it down on a nice soft surface. This is your derby cup, people. Just wipe off our mating surface. And reinstall our drain plug. Just by hand, nice and square. Just like that. bottom it out by hand. Take your 5/8. Once you bottom it out by hand, just give it a quarter of a turn. That's an aluminum case. Take it easy. Just snug it up just like that. That's all it needs. Now we're going to add our genuine Harley Davidson transmission primary chain case lubricant to the primary. Put your funnel right in this little notch. They actually make a little piece. You can stick it in there. It's like it sits right in here, and it makes this whole thing like a funnel, but you don't need it. Just a small funnel like this will work. Put it in there. And this holds about the same as the transmission did. You really can't overfill these. What you usually do, it takes 9/10 of a quart or 900 milliliters. But what you can do is just fill it up till it just starts to run over here, and that's all it needs. Just like that. Just when it just starts coming over. That's it. That's all she needs. Wipe off that mating surface. In the inside of your derby cover. Now's a good time. Same way you took it off. Put it back on. Start with the top. Just loosely finger tight. Just get them started. We'll start bringing them down gradually by hand in a star pattern.
I get ants in the house everywhere all the time. You can't get rid of them. You do in my yard.
Just finger tight. Go around a few times.
Of ants. And I put poison in there.
Back to where we started. Now just snug them up gradually in a star pattern like this. Go around again. This is the final tighten. Check them a few times. We're going to bring it down gradually and evenly. Make sure they're all the same. This is an aluminum case, people, so take it easy. And check them one final time. Perfect. Collect your used oil. Sounds like a happy motorcycle to me.
Oh yeah. Woo!
Well, that's it for today, everyone. Thanks for watching.
Have a good night. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Good night, everyone. Take good care of each other.